Breaking news, the state of Nebraska has agreed to pay millions of dollars to resolve a dispute that's gone over 10 years with state troopers. Maybe one of the longest and more complex civil cases in the state's history.
We're going to boil it down for you. Back in 2011, more than 400 current and former Nebraska state troopers filed a federal lawsuit. They accused state lawmakers of violating their labor contract by forcing troopers to increase contributions to their pension plan beyond what they'd agreed to when they started working for NSP.
The two sides have been arguing ever since. Today, Governor Jim Pillen and State AG Mike Hilgers announced they will pay nearly $19 million to settle the dispute.